What's happening? SteelerNation, what's popping? What's going on? How's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing? Hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. My little light was a little too far. Looks like I was blocking its view. There we go. So what's happening, folks? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. What is happening? Hope everybody is well. And I gotta apologize to y'all again, man. I still have not gotten back there yet. Still. It's just me lollygagging. I got a bigger piece of decoration that I want to go back there on the wall. It's right over here. I'm looking right at it. I'm just being lazy. I haven't done it yet, but in a moment, it shall happen. So forgive me. But anyway, how's everybody doing? Let's make sure the camera is straight. It is. Hope everybody is well. I'm going to get into my little bit of business, and then I'm going to open it up for the phone calls because I want this show to be more so about the phone calls, kind of, speed through my little bit of information, if you will. And I really want to hear from you guys, hear from everyone in SteelerNation, man. I want to hear your thoughts, concerns, your hates, your likes, your loves, all of the above. But like we always do, we're going to say what's up and say hello to the early commenters right out the gate. What's up to 412, born and raised, Maestro Fresh West. He says, love your insight, King. At least we are 7-4. I appreciate that, King. Right back at you. Dr. Trey, 88. Hello, Susie, the lovely Susie. Hello. Thank you for tuning in like always. Appreciate you, Susie. And fellas, make sure you say hello to our lovely ladies. As I see another one here in the chat early as well. Miss Destiny, what is happening, Destiny? Appreciate you coming through. Actually, excuse me. I said Destiny, but I'm looking at Lanisha, actually. Lanisha. So Destiny must be in here because I said her name. But there's Lanisha. And also, man, round of applause. We got a donation from another one of our lovely ladies of the show. We have Angie, a.k.a. Steeler Baby. Oh, Baby Steeler. What's happening, lovely ladies in the chat, man? So like I said, Susie, Lanisha, and Angie. Let's keep reading. Vista Light. Who else we got? Joshua Shield is in the building. Kev So Nice. Who else? Dietrich Bundick. Why Diggy, my man, is in the building. Good brother Kenyon in the building. Father-in-law Leonard Langley in the building. Sport 8 is in the building. 007 in the building. Mr. Fleetwood, what up, man? Brian Williams. Who else? Jared Devil. Aaron Morse. Jack Bauer. BQ412. I see Charlie Brown is in the building as well. And I think we will end it right about there. Actually, here's another one. Donnie Underwood and Gavin Carr. What's happening, fellas? 410 Carpenter Legend, Claude Bishop, and Afro Thunder. And there goes Malvo, Mr. Malvo. So we'll end it right about there. All right, man. So listen, I'm going to be brief with my 2 cents. I'll recap the game just a little bit because it's ironic, man. I always say that my post game a lot of times is my knee-jerk reaction. But a lot of times when I rewatch the game, I have the same feelings. Generally, I don't have more detailed analysis until I'm able to see the all-22. And because of, again, I say this every week. You guys that are here all the time have heard this 1,000 times. But for the newcomers, always got to treat it as if they're watching for the first time. I commute on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, away from my home down to DC. That's where my home office is, and I live in Pennsylvania, so yeah, it's quite a commute. But because of that, I don't have the time to stay up late Monday night to look at the All 22, nor watch it during the day on Tuesday. Usually when I get home on Tuesday, like I did this evening, I watch a little bit of it as I'm eating dinner, then I get myself ready for the show. And there you have it. So I say all that to say I usually don't have any deep dive analysis until after I've watched the film, which unfortunately, by the time most of you hear me live again, it's the Before Play show. Now, those of you that are members of the channel, y'all know exclusive content. I do release the All 22 footage in most cases on Thursday, sometimes Wednesday night. But anyway, after rewatching the game, man, I still pretty much have a lot of the same feelings. I'll get to that in a moment. A couple things I just wanted to talk about from Tomlin's presser. Looking here, the injury report, and we could probably pretty much assume this. Minka and Montravius Adams both are working their way back. Mike Tomlin said he's optimistic, cautiously optimistic or what have you, but he's pretty certain. He feels as of right now, depending on how everything plays out this week, that those gentlemen will be able to play in the Cardinals game. The interesting thing to me is Minka has been out for 4 weeks. So they probably could have done the IR situation, and maybe they didn't do it because, I don't know, maybe they didn't think that he was going to be out for 4 weeks, but essentially it's the same amount of time. So did it hurt us in the long run? Perhaps not, but it's very interesting to see that they did not use the injury reserve tag for those guys. But hey, no need to cry over spilled milk. It didn't hurt us in the long run. At least I don't see where it did. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I just thought that was interesting. He also talked about Calvin Austin dealing with a little bit of an ankle, which he mentioned after the game. He says, he may be limited, but it looks promising. So he's not really talking like Calvin Austin has anything significant going on. And then also he mentioned that Kenny Pickens is dealing with some type of ankle discomfort. Didn't know that as well, but he basically pretty much just said outright, it may limit him a little bit early in the week, but there's no concerns there as well. But of course, you always want to keep an eye on these things. As any type of injuries post game or early in the week, you want to keep an eye on them to make sure nothing is aggravated or hurt even further or injured further during the week. So by the time we get to Friday's injury report after Friday's practice, we have a kind of more of a clear picture of who you think is going to play and who might not. Tomlin went on to explain the challenge a bit more and gave a more lengthy explanation. And he also mentioned that there is someone on staff. There is someone on staff who's tasked with, buzzing down. Buzzing down to let him know when we should and shouldn't challenge, both on the road as well as at home. And I'm going to comment on that in a moment. Round of applause to Kev So Nice for that donation. He says, Sim, I like the play calling on offense and them using the tight end and using the middle of the field. I see our formula run. You say, I see our formula. Oh, run the ball and hold the team under 20 points. Yeah, for the most part, I like the play calling as well. Even, re-looking at the game, that can't be our only formula. I mean, we definitely need to produce more points. I mean, it's very possible even in that game, we could have put up a 24-point effort, something like that, 24, 25. That could have happened in Sunday's game. So even though the offense didn't score so much, I saw a lot of promise. And I'm going to talk about that here shortly, but I'm there with you. As far as continuing to hold teams under 20, don't know, is that sustainable? I know it's funny to say that all the way here in week 12 going into week 13, but looking at the schedule, it's not a whole lot of teams and not really any teams left on our schedule. Let me pull it up, man, just to make sure my memory is what I think it is. Not really anybody that we're going to face going forward that concerns me in terms of points. Okay, because we got the Cardinals coming up this week or next week, I guess you could say. We got the Patriots on that following Thursday. We got the Indianapolis Colts. They don't scare me points-wise. We got the Bengals again. We got the Seahawks. The Seahawks could be an interesting game. I'm curious to know what type of team the Seahawks will be in Week 17. And then we got the Ravens again, Week 18. Now, the Ravens, yeah, we held them down in the first game, but we all should understand how that game went. The Ravens definitely should have won that game. They had opportunities to put points on the board. They did not. But, it's not really a lot of teams here over the next, 6 games that gives me much concern as far as points. So maybe they can maintain that, keep them under 20, and we'll see. Seahawks and Ravens, I would probably say those are two teams that got to be a little careful with as far as scoring and points and things of that nature. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, is it going to hold up if the Steelers actually do get in the playoffs? I don't know. It depends on what team they face. Even though teams like Buffalo are not playing that well, if Buffalo sneaks in the playoffs, they can produce points. Miami can produce points. Kansas City can produce points. Baltimore Ravens can produce enough points with the defense they have. If Cleveland slides in, because it's very possible, it's looking like there's a chance for 3 AFC North teams to make it in the playoffs. Cleveland will be formidable against most teams because of their defense. Now, I know, okay, we were just able to hold them to 13 and literally 13 the last 5 seconds of the game. But again, we only scored 10 points. So you got to look at it like that. So it's interesting. It's very interesting, man. And who knows how things are going to play out. Man. So let's see. What else did I want to get to? Actually, it looks like we got a few donations here, man. Round of applause to Sport 8 as well as Maestro. Let's give a round of applause to both of those gentlemen. And thank you so much for the donation, man. I absolutely appreciate that. Let's go back up to Sport 8. Sport 8 says, what's up with Deontay, man? Your take on him just nonchalantly strolling around while not going for the tackle. We don't need that type of ish right now. Man, I'm with you. I don't like what I'm seeing out of Deontay Johnson. Of course, the way he kind of explained the situation, he claimed that he didn't know the ball was fumbled or what have you, but I find it hard to believe that. Well, let me not say that. I don't want to speculate because I was not on the field. I'm not in his head. I don't have his pair of eyes. I don't know what he did and didn't see. But everything about that play was nonchalant. Off the line was very nonchalant. Just think about that. That was a running play coming his direction. And he was very nonchalant how he acted, even going to block. Jaylen Warren goes down. He's looking that way. Ball pops out. I mean, you don't hear the commotion around you. You don't hear people. You know what I'm saying? Do not like that. I don't like that. And that's a couple times this season that we've seen, whether it was him or George Pickens, there's stories around these guys and how they're acting. We can't have that. We've seen enough of that from Antonio Brown, and neither one of those guys have put a season or seasons consecutively together like Antonio Brown did. So if we are even going to tolerate any of that nonsense, which we shouldn't deal with any of it, you better be putting up numbers like AB did, and that type of production isn't there. Now, I know it's not Ben Roethlisberger throwing you the ball, but the point still stands. Come on, get yourself together, Deontay. Another round of applause, man, to Wyatt Diggy. Appreciate that donation, my brother. Wyatt Diggy says, let's not dismiss the fact that we can win this division, but still have games at Jax and San Francisco against Miami before our game in week 18. You says, you says Baltimore does. Okay. For some reason, I saw that and read it as but. You says, yeah, Baltimore has games at Jacksonville, San Francisco, and Miami before our game against them in week 18. Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, listen, the Ravens are sitting at 9-3 right now, and they're squeaking it out a little bit, you know. They're kind of winning games the way the Steelers used to win games, keeping it close and then pulling away a little bit at the end. They're doing what they need to do, man. That run game is formidable. We all know that. Lamar Jackson is still dangerous. You know, he's dangerous. Their defense is playing well enough. I love their inside linebacker tandem. Kyle Hamilton is playing well. I mean, that front end is playing well. They have a winning formula right there, man. As far as offensively and defensively, they have what it takes to put pressure on teams. However, they are about to face some real deal competition, and we'll see. What if they lose one or two of those games? And what if the Steelers continue to win? So it is possible. Do I expect the Ravens to more than likely win the division? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, with them already sitting at 9 wins. I think their path to winning the division is way easier than ours, but anything is possible. So let's keep our eyes open on that. Getting back to a little bit of my point here so I can be brief. What else did I have here? Talked about Kenny. Yeah, so Tomlin says that there is someone appointed at away games and home games that are up in the booth, and they're supposed to alert him and others when to challenge and when not to. And I thought he did a great job explaining what also gave him more reason not to throw the flag. He said, because he knows how the game is officiated, he says typically refs, when it's close like that, they will call it a touchdown because they know they have the automatic review on scoring plays. And that's kind of their fail-safe. The review will happen automatically. And then if the touchdown isn't a touchdown, they will see it based on the review, and then they can reverse the call. This is what Tomlin said. Now, again, I know some of y'all going to say, oh, I don't believe that, whatever. I mean, I'm not here to say what I believe or don't believe, but I will say it sounds possible. That explanation sounds plausible to me because he said the same thing after the game. He said the refs were so definitive with it. So he said that as well as he again he stated that in that stadium on the road, they did not show, they weren't quick to show the replay in the stadium, so they didn't get a real good look at it, as well as whoever else is responsible for buzzing down did not do it, so he didn't challenge it. And I get on him all the time about his challenges, but I will say I can appreciate that explanation because I just, I really felt like, according to the rules of a catch now, particularly in the end zone, that third foot establishes it's a catch. 1, 2, when you take another step, it's a catch. As soon as you do that, because you've crossed the plane, it's one of these. You no longer have to survive the ground. It's one of these. So, should have been a touchdown. It wasn't. What you gonna do about it? Next thing I have, I just want to recap the game a little bit, man. Again, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here. The Pittsburgh Steelers, more importantly, came out of character. Not their traditional script, and I love it. I think what they did on that first down play, this is just my opinion, I have no way of knowing. But I think what the Steelers did is they played Cincinnati against themselves, right? Cincinnati came out and they said, all right, we're going to sit in too high because we know what the Steelers running at us. We already know what they're coming with. And the Steelers said, okay, they're expecting us to do this. We're going to do that. And they came right out the gate. Quick play action fake, hits Fryer, move down the middle. And me personally, I think that set the tone for the entire game because rewatching the game, there was stuff that I didn't catch the first time. There were times when we were in three tight end personnel. Times we was in 13. There was times when we was in 3 tight ends and 2 running backs. We did a lot of things that just are different. personnel packages and personnel utilization, all of the stuff that I have said many times over. Some of you have said it as well. We got a chance to see all of the things that we felt like was missing from this offense. Variation, difference of personnel, running plays out of a certain personnel package with different people that look like a different personnel package. Calling the unexpected, not staying in character on certain down and distance. And more importantly, the offense was in a rhythm. Like they got going. And listen, you're not expecting no offense to score every time. No offense really does that. What you want to see the most and what we saw, sustainable offense. That's what I've been asking for all year. It's not about how many times, how many times you score. It's about possessing the football and having sustainable drives, keeping your defense off the field, or at least giving them rest, playing the field position game. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You're not going to score 100 points a game, so you're never going to hear me sit here and get mad every single time there's a drive and they don't score or they don't get a field goal. It don't work like that. Not even the best offenses do that. Kansas City don't put up 50 points a game. Miami put up 70 points one time. That was some type of fluke, and they ain't scoring on every possession. None of the teams are doing that, but the good teams are able to have sustainable drives. And when you have sustainable drives, you put yourself in better position to score and or get a field goal. But more importantly, take time off the clock, play the field possession game, and your defense is backing you up. And that's how you win football games. And that's what the Steelers did this past Sunday. That's what they did. And we all saw that there was opportunities where they could have had more than 16 points. It was right there. So I am encouraged from what I've seen so far. And again, I'm going to dive into this tape pretty good tomorrow evening. I still stick to what I said after watching the replay of the game. I do not think Kenny Pickett played horribly. I think Kenny Pickett missed a couple throws in the game, but also you have to acknowledge, I will go as far as saying 6 or 5 great throws by Kenny Pickett in this game. And the only reason why I'm even bringing that up, because listen, I'm not one to sit down and judge every single throw. Every quarterback is going to make a bad throw or a bad read. It happens. But the reason why I have to bring this up, because some of you guys just build your narrative so strong, either for or against. So I'm just keeping it fair. If you're going to criticize the few throws that he missed in that particular game, I'm not talking about all season. Because again, I'm still of the mindset, if this kid has to play better, he has to get better. Is he going to show signs of getting better? That's what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at him game per game. So if you're going to beat him down for the few throws that he didn't make, you have to also give him credit for the throws he made. Am I right? Do you not have to do that? And I would go as far as saying 6, but I would say a legit 5 great throws. Throws I need to see my NFL quarterback make. He did it in that game. Both throws down the seam to Pat Fryermuth. The throw deep downfield on the right side to Deontay Johnson. The slot fade to George Pickens. The touchdown that should have been to Deontay Johnson. That was a money throw. You don't believe me? Go back and look at it. Look at the location of that ball. I'm just saying. Got to give him credit for those. Whether you hate him or love him. I'm going to leave it at that, because I know it's a touchy topic when it comes to, is Kenny good? Is he not? So I'm going to just leave it at that. Other than that, man, I was going to title this video, The Steelers offense is off of life support. That was going to be the title of this video, but I want to give Najee Harris some credit. And that's why Najee is in the title and Najee is my thumbnail. But I am going to make my point about the life support. I feel like this offense is off of life support. They ain't quite, they haven't quite been discharged from the hospital yet. They're just showing signs. They were dying. They were on life support. We had to revive them a few times. But now, this past Sunday, they're breathing on their own now. Breathing tube has come out, but we're still monitoring. I'm not ready to send them home yet because they ain't humming yet. They're just showing signs. So we're going to keep an eye on them before we discharge them. And that's how I feel like this offense is. And that's my feelings about this offense after this performance against the Bengals. Okay, you're off life support. You're breathing on your own now. You're showing some signs. But now I need to see you recover. Because one game ain't going to make me, do this. Shake the pom-poms. Not after one game. I don't work like that. Because I can guarantee you there's people in SteelerNation who saw this one offensive effort and see, we can compete. We can go to the playoffs and we can win. Man, we might get to the Super Bowl. I know some of y'all did that. Sure. Slow down. It's one game, bro. One game. Let's see how this continues. And as far as the last thing, man, before I get to the phone calls, Najee Harris. Y'all got to put some respect on that brother's name, man. And I keep saying it. See, I'm confident, man. When I speak certain things that I feel and those things start to show itself, it's not about right or wrong because I don't think there's a right or wrong opinion. But it's always cool to see when I have an opinion about something that comes to fruition. Y'all know I have been on record and I have been saying repeatedly, we need both Najee and Jaylen Warren. Y'all remember that? Even way back in the season when Jaylen Warren looked like he has more juice, what did I keep saying? Man, we need both of them. Najee's not a bust. Why y'all keep saying that? Look at the type of scenario Najee is in. Look at how as soon as he gets the ball, his people in the backfield already own him. Look at the formations that Matt Canada is asking him to run out of. I was saying all of this stuff. Even when Jaylen Warren had his career day. Lovely. Love what Jaylen Warren does for us. But I still said after that game, we need both of them. Now look, Najee Harris has his day. And I wish he wouldn't have lost no yards because I wish he could officially have a 100-yard game, but he got 99. But Najee showed his butt, man. He showed off in that game. And some people are going to say, it was just 99 yards, but no, it's how he got them. The explosive runs, the 20-something yard run that he had with the entire Cincinnati Bengal defense on his back. The boy was out there running hard and determined, looking like a real old school Steeler running back. I was very, very proud of Najee Harris in that game. And that made me feel good about, ooh, man, this looked like smash mouth Steelers. I'm loving it. Ground and pound. I didn't even know this. Again, this is why I listen to resources like Steelers Depot. We always talk about a balanced offense. They said that the Steelers ran 33 run attempts, 33 pass attempts. That's crazy. Now, that's what they said. I didn't check to see if it was factual. Let me see. If that's not balanced, what do you call it? And it's not to say that I don't, believe what those fellas said. But again, I'm a person that's like to get my own facts. Yeah. Kenny was 24 of 33. And there was 33 rushing attempts. Boy, if that ain't balanced, what you call it? That's how we win. That's how the Pittsburgh Steelers will win. Balance on offense and formidable defense. Seems like a very simple formula, but that's how this team, our Steelers, are going to win. Just like that. Beautiful. But y'all better put some respect on Najee Harris, man. I'm not accepting any slander of Najee Harris, because again, the reason why I be so adamant about these things is because I think as a fan base, we just move on too fast from players when a lot of people don't even understand all the minute details that goes into what you're seeing. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not asking everybody to be a football expert. I'm just saying sometimes you guys jump out the window from week to week, and it's literally what I say. It's just highlight watching. Y'all not really looking at the details. And Najee goes out there and has a game like that. Come on, man. I like Najee, man. And that's just where I'm going to end it. I like Najee. And I like Jaylen Warren a lot. Love them both. Let's get to the phone calls, man. I told you we're going to get to these things early, man. How much time we got? Let's do a time check. 32 minutes. Okay. Should be able to get a decent amount of these calls in, man. Right now, we have 6 in the queue. Let's see how they go. Y'all know the routine, man. Don't be so long-winded, and I won't be so long-winded on my reply. All right, let's get to it. First up in the queue, we have area code 443. What you got for us?
What's good, Sim, as always. Good evening to all the ladies in the chat. Hope everybody well. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah, man, the Steelers offense, man, they look pretty good. Finally, consistency with the plays being called, more fluidity. Kenny did a great job in the game. Well, I won't say a great job. He did a good job. I wouldn't say great because he's still predetermined in his pass plays, man. The pass to Deontay on the goal line when he was covered like a blanket. Robinson coming across the middle open. All they got to do is go through his reach. That's a touchdown. The play to Freiermuth on the same sidelines, little deep pass. He was covered like a blanket early on in the game. Washington, he's staring at Washington. Well, it wasn't Washington. I think it was Pickens. Staring at Pickens across the middle, but he wouldn't throw it. And then the last thing was the check down to Warren. He drops back. He's looking, or what it seemed to be looking, right at Washington at the sticks for a first down. He didn't cut it loose. Mm-hmm. He checks it down to Warren for some reason. So, you know what I mean? That's an issue, man, that definitely needs to get fixed. The problem with that is that's Kenny. Like, QB coach or offensive coordinator can't teach vision. It got to be something you have, man. And right now, you don't have it. Yeah. Last thing, Deontay Johnson, and Pickens. If they don't know where they at, they better recognize where they at. Because on the offensive side of the ball, at least in Pittsburgh for the last couple of years, they've been wide receiver university, just like they used to say about, or still say about the linebackers on defense. So if you don't pay attention, homie, both of y'all can be gone. Because Deontay, you seen that play. You was upset about not being called a touchdown, and you and Pickens at times jog on routes. Y'all don't run full routes. Y'all don't play full tilt. Last thing about AB is no matter what headaches AB gave the Steelers, you didn't have to question his work ethic on the field and him going full tilt every play. Thanks for the call, man.
Man, that is a fact about AB. Absolute fact. And also, I want everyone to hear what he said about Kenny Pickett. That is a fact also. That's why I said don't get too high. You know, I gave Kenny credit for the throws he made. There were some throws he missed, but there is still things like that. And again, when I get a chance to get in that 22, it's going to show it. But I definitely remember that one he's talking about to Darnell Washington. And I think I saw him do that earlier in the game too. I want to say, I got to go back and look at it, but I was looking at it before I started the show. On that possession where, was it our first possession or second? Where it was like third and long and he threw it down, you know, in the flats to Warren. But Freiermuth was right in front of him too, at the sticks it looked like. So I need to look at the overhead view to make sure Muth was at the sticks, but he's right there. So stuff like that, man, what the caller just said, those are the things that Kenny is going to have to improve. And the hope would be is that if the offense is starting to loosen up a little bit, they can coach that up. But it's still going to have to be up to him mentality-wise to let it rip, man. Because there are definitely opportunities where he could rip it. So, yeah, appreciate that call, man. Let's get to the next one. Area code 678. What you got for us?
Thanks a lot for taking my call, son.
Yes, sir.
I just want to piggyback off of what you're saying a little bit. I would have to say that, you're saying that the offense is off of life support. I would have to say that it's still on. But, like when you go to the hospital and you touch that person that's on life support's hand and they start squeezing a little bit and let you know that they're starting to get better, that's the way I feel the Steelers are headed, because there's plays that are being missed and there's plays that are being made. And then you say to yourself, well, if they can put it together with the defense that they have, then it could be something special. I'm looking forward to, with these last games through the season, the Steelers trying to win 3 in a row. So far, we have not been able to win 3 in a row. However, also, we haven't lost 2 in a row. So I would like to try to get off the schnob, if you will, with that not winning 3 in a row. And I think that would go a little bit further as far as like getting off of life support. I also am in agreement with you about Najee Harris. I don't believe that there's no tailback 1 or 2. I come from old school. We had Franco and we had Rocky. And, they're both, great to the team. There's no, should Basi start first or whatever? Let's use them both. And I think we can continue with the schedule that we have. I feel as though we can continue to learn how to get off of life support. Thanks a lot for taking my call.
Man, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate that. He rehashed the life support point, so I don't really need to add to that. He did a good job with that. But yeah, man, I feel the same way. I don't get how. Again, man, I hope it doesn't come off disrespectful when I say it to people, but it's a lot of highlight watching, man. They see Jaylen Warren do this. Oh, he needs to start. Because I even see some of the media do it. But why? What's the problem with continuing with the 2 backs? Keeping them fresh. I mean, that's the comment that I hear from Warren and Najee and the coaching staff. Keep them fresh. I just don't get people who don't want that. It's crazy to me. Before I forget it, man, I did see a comment here as a caller was speaking. Charlie Brown, you're absolutely correct. I fully agree with him with that. Even though we say things like we think it's Kenny with this or don't think it's Kenny with that, what my man Charlie Brown is saying here is correct. He says, I just got one rebuttal to the Kenny thing. How do we know how Kenny is taught to read? We don't eat. Well, he says, we don't know. Each team or coach can teach that differently. And that is correct. That's one thing none of us should ever lose sight of, is we don't know for a fact what's going on. We can only give our opinion based off of what we're seeing. But that's a great point. And that's why I try to stay away from trying to be too bullish with my own opinion, because it's just opinion. We don't have the facts. Next up, area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I just want to give a kind of a comment or a shout out to the Steelers, man, just for this rookie class they got this year. I know a lot of fans, including myself, was beating on the table for certain rookies to start immediately. But the way it's looking now, man, Steelers have a way of doing things. And we may not agree, we may not like it, right? But the way they're handling this year's rookie class, man, they're getting some contribution out of those cats in spurts. And it's starting to uptick a little bit during the right time of the season when they really need them. If they do make the playoffs, they'll be able to get something out of them. I just want to give Mike Tomlin flowers for that, man, because I know he gets criticized, the team gets criticized for the way they handle some of the rookies. But this year, in my opinion, looks like they're doing it right. That's all I got. Thanks.
Man, that's a great point. And just really quick to address the Mike T thing, Mike Tomlin, it honestly, man, the opinions are going to be what they are for those who dislike him until he wins another Super Bowl. So that's why I don't even go down that road no more with folks, man. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating to have a team that we all love and hold near and dear to our hearts, and a lot of people can say are used to winning, but in reality, most of y'all, if you're like me, we only saw 2 Super Bowls in our time watching. So how much winning do they do? You understand what I'm saying? And I say that kind of jokingly, but being serious at the same time. It's hard. Every team just don't win. Every coach just don't win Super Bowls. If it was easy, certain things only come once in a blue moon. What Bill Belichick and Tom Brady was able to do together, blue moon. The Steelers in the 70s, blue moon. What we're kind of seeing out of KC with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, once in a blue moon. So that's not me, endorsing Mike Tomlin. I'm just saying the opinions are going to be what they are until the Steelers win another Super Bowl. That's just fandom. That's fandom. That's how it goes. So, but I will say, take the name off of it. I think there is something to be said about any coach that keeps his team in conversation every year, even when they end up 9-8, even when they've ended up 9-7 in older years, even when they end up 8-8. I think there's something that has to be said about any coach who can keep his team in the conversation or in contention, whether they win or not. That's a whole different story. But next up in the queue, area code 318. What you got for us?
Whoa, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Make it short. First, I want to show love to both teams, went out there and fought their hearts out. And, basically, I want to touch on Deontay Johnson. People getting on him. I kind of called late. I don't know if you talked about it or not, but, people getting on him, about that play. But I really don't have I know he could have put forth an effort, but you got to think, have you really just heard any bad things about Deontay? He went a whole year without a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
I really don't think he's a diva. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it was just the heat of the moment. Like, my bro texted me. He was like, man, Deontay could, this and that. I was like, I feel like he probably didn't know Warren fumbled. I mean, could he put forth the effort after the fact? He saw people running, yeah. But, I mean, I don't really think Deontay that big of a problem. And for us, the offense, I had said it a while back. I don't know if you can remember, but I said, I was like, hey, I feel like we need to Pat Freiermuth needs to be our number one target, and then that'll open up everything else. And, it's slowly coming, but yeah, like I said, Kenny is not there yet, but it was a big leap from when Canada was there and when he left. And last thing, man, the defense really should have shut them out Sunday, yo. They had 2 Rudy Poo plays. They got them in, the red zone. And, it kind of, it should have been at least 23-3. But we on the upwards trajectory. Looking at this schedule, it should be nice. Hopefully we can finish out strong. That's all I got on. Y'all have a great night.
Man, appreciate the call, and I'll comment on 2 things that you said. The first thing that you mentioned was, I don't believe that about Deontay as well. And I'm going to be honest here, and some people might get mad. I think part of the hate that Deontay gets is the whole narrative, and I'll say narrative for a reason. The whole narrative around him dropping the footballs. That's been out there on Deontay for the last several years. And it's funny. Yes, Deontay has had drops. But when you compare them to other receivers, even some of the top tier receivers in the league, he had less drops than them. But again, it's us. It's the Steeler fan base. We get upset. Sometimes he's dropped the ball in a key moment. Okay, I know, I get it. It happens. But I'm saying, I think that is part of it. That's part of it. That a lot of SteelerNation looks at him as, I've seen people call him Deontay Dropson. So anything he does is going to heighten what people say. And again, the media, and then this is no disrespect, man, to any of the media people. You know, I'll even say this. Stephen A. Smith is who he is because of who he is. He said as much. If you listen to him on his podcast, he knows what he needs to do and say and how to say it to get people watching. He understands all of that. So it doesn't surprise me that First Take blows that up. You understand what I'm saying? It's designed. It doesn't shock me that they speak about things for shock value or what's gonna get headlines. That's what they should be doing. That's why he gets paid the money he gets paid, because that's what the ESPN, that's what they want, viewership. So a lot of times when I say even the media, I'm not talking about an outlet like First Take or Stephen A. Smith, because he knows exactly what he's doing. And if you pay attention to him off of First Take, he'll tell you, yeah, I know exactly how to, I basically produce the show. I know what people want to see. But so many other people, I feel like, jumping on that subject and making a big deal out of that one play. They're just trying to create a narrative for whatever reason. I don't think Deontay is the diva either. We haven't had any real issues with this dude. Let's not forget, Pickens was the one that did all of the social media stuff. Now, we'll say Deontay is on Twitter here and there. Probably need to chill on that. But we haven't had no issues with this dude, man, that I can recall, where we would say he's a bad guy. And everybody gets frustrated. Let's not act like he's the only player. Come on, man. Let's stop doing that. Also, what you said reminded me of a point. He was talking about the defense and how the defense probably could have shut them out. Probably. But it reminded me of something that I shared with Kenyon and Tony and my cousin Floyd. And I will be sharing it with you all who are members of the channel when we look at the All-22. If you want to know why I call number 29 now, I don't even put the number on it anymore. Go look at the Bengals' first drive on the third down, I believe, when TJ Watt gets the sack fumble. Go look at how 29 is playing on that play. Holy moly. I just had a chance to watch it right before I started the show, looking at the All-22. That was supposed to be a super duper long touchdown, more than likely, for the Bengals. That perhaps Joe Burrow may have seen that. However, we got pressure on the kid, so he couldn't really set his feet. So maybe Burrow wouldn't have got there either. But I want one of y'all or some of y'all, if you have opportunity, tell me what 29 was doing on that play. And that right there will explain to you why that's why I refer to him as 29. Wow. Area code 412, what you got for us?
What's good, bro? This is Nob calling in.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody in the chat? I'm chilling. First thing I want to say, Kenny Pickett, man, he was darting him up, bro. I know people going to say what they want to say about him, which is cool. But that was a step forward for me. That's what I wanted to see. Fire move career day, killing them on third down. Najee running with unlimited people on him. The defense, somebody said something about the rookie. This might be the best rookie class since I've been watching. That's like just productive. Like, I don't know what. I think Herbig needs to see a little bit more time. And like another thing, I never seen backups like with no drop off. I'm speaking of Thompson and Walker. I like them two guys. And whatever they do moving forward, I want them two guys to be a part of this. That's all I got, bro.
Man, thanks for the call, but more importantly, thanks for bringing up a point I definitely want to make. I know my boy Tony would be proud of this, man, because we often talk offline about how it definitely seemed like, you know, if you compare it, sometimes it seemed like Cowher had better backup players over his tenure than Tomlin. And I don't know if we don't know if it's really true, but it seemed like it when you think about some of those guys who were backups. James Harrison was a backup. Aaron Smith, Brett Kiesel, these type of dudes was backups at first. So when you think about that, it makes you just be like, wow. However, yes, we're getting a lot from some of these backup players. Man, I can't end the show or not have a show and talk about Trenton Thompson. Wow. Boy's playing. I remember he made a couple plays in preseason, and they kept talking about him in training camp. He's doing some good things, and I wouldn't be opposed to having him play alongside Minka when Minka returns, and let number 23 be the third safety and come in during dime and things like that. Just saying, he may have earned that. Herbig is showing out, man, with the limited snaps that he's getting. And it's hard to get him on the field. It is. I mean, when you're talking about TJ and Highsmith, it's hard to get him more snaps, but getting contributions for him. And let's not forget, man, again, I don't want people to forget this guy because sack numbers or whatever highlight isn't there for you to see. Keanu Benton. Man, this dude is a force up front. I mean, his rip and swim and just how agile he is and how light he is on his feet, man. I'm calling it right now, and this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Keanu Benton is going to be a serious problem in this league, man, if he stays healthy. This dude is unbelievable. Just some of the nuance that he has. And let me give you a real-time example of how I can say that this early. Y'all remember when myself and Kenyon first talked about Alex Highsmith when he was a rookie, and we were comparing him to Bud Dupree, and we were saying, this dude got his pure pass rush moves is already better than Bud. And Highsmith was raw still, but you could see just the raw talent that he had. That's how I'm feeling about Benton. Benton is man, let me tell you, bro. Benton, if Benton stays on that trajectory, woo! Remember I said it. If he stays healthy and he continues to ascend, we got one. We got one, and we got one of them. I'm gonna call that already because I'm seeing the raw skill in his game, and once he refines it, he gonna be a problem. All right, man. I think I got time for 2 more calls, and coincidentally, we have 2 left in the queue. So let's get these in and out, and then we can wrap this show up. Area code 540. What you got for us?
Hey, Sim. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I had a backup just in case. The last caller talked about the rookies. They are doing fantastic. But my backup was why I think Najee had such a good game. So Canada era, we're doing a lot of outs, a lot of screens, nothing over the middle, for the most part. What that's going to do is the safeties don't have to worry about over the top, and the corners can play the outs. So obviously, it was blatantly obvious they were crowding the line of scrimmage. Najee is a downhill running back. And I'm not taking anything away from Warren's explosiveness, but Warren is not. Warren, he can hit a hole really quick if the hole is there. But when Najee hits the hole, if the hole's not there and he's got a kick to the outside, he is nowhere near as agile or fast. Mm-hmm. And that's why he was getting up at the line of scrimmage, is because the defenses were playing, no, we're not going over the middle and we're not going over the top. So the corners can play the outside. The linebackers can, play up at the line. The safeties can come up. So that's going to slow Najee down. And it jumped live as I was watching the game. Like, Najee's having the game of his life yesterday, but you notice we're hitting the seams.
Yeah.
We're throwing it deep. You know, we're stretching the field. So those safeties, they can't play up at the line of scrimmage no more. They can't block up the holes in the line. The linebackers, they got to worry about Muth cutting across the middle, you know. So that was opening up a lot of lanes for him. That one run he had, that was friggin' amazing. He was like a truck. He took, like, you know, the whole defense with him. But when he initially hit that hole, there was he had two linebackers and I think maybe a D lineman, but he had the whole offensive line behind him, pushing him, helping him to break out that hole because there weren't 8 people in the box trying to stop him. So thanks for the time, but I just wanted to hear your take on that. That's what I got from it, and why moving forward, if they can continue to do that, Najee will have more games like that. But thanks for your time, Sim.
Man, thanks for the call, and I can only agree. I mean, anybody who watches the game, listen to what 540 just said. You could the Bengals didn't crowd the line as much, so it automatically creates that space. I mean, anybody who's been watching football long enough, even if you don't understand it, you've heard a commentator or you've heard somebody in your house or your friend or whatever say, man, they got 8 in the box. Man, they got 9 in the box. That's the box count. How many defenders are in that box? Tackle area, right? You know, it's going to throw off the head count or who to block, who's unaccounted for. When you crowd the box, obviously it's harder to run. That's why you bring safeties closer to the line. You roll cornerbacks up when they're not concerned with you. Remember when we played Cleveland and we kept saying they was daring us to throw it. They was daring us to throw one-on-one. But then they tricked us because they started dropping in zone a little bit. But absolutely, what my man just said there is the reason why when Najee gets a favorable box and we could get a hat on the hat, it's more than likely going to be a positive result because he does have that brute strength. Like, he's the bruiser. And he's coming right for you. Like, he's straight downhill runner. Jalen Warner's a different back, man. And that's why you need that compliment, man. You need that. I love the 1-2 punch. I really do. I really do. And I'm going to stick with that. Before I take the last call, man, I definitely want to comment on what Charlie Brown said. He is absolutely correct. And y'all can read it for yourselves. But he's basically saying the Steelers don't care about the number 1, number 2 receiver, yada, yada, yada. Deontay Johnson is the only, right now, he probably is the only receiver on our team that can continually create space. The best route runner by far. The best receiver against man-to-man by far. And his level of creating separation is tops in the league. Yeah, I said that. You can challenge that, but that's my opinion. Looking at all of these other receivers across the league and who's this, who's that, find me 5 more receivers that can create better separation at the top of the route than Deontay Johnson. It's crazy how some of you guys are saying that he sucks. I don't know where y'all get that from. I don't know what y'all watching. Now, we'll get on Deontay. Yeah, you got 3 feet in, but I still need you to squeeze that and hold on to that ball. And that ball can't come out your hands right there. So I got to put that on his head. You got to squeeze that and make that catch, man. Can't let that ball get ripped out. But I will take a Deontay Johnson talent on my team any day. Have y'all seen how this man runs return routes? Have y'all seen how he runs his return routes, pivot routes, whatever you want to call them? Come on, man. Y'all crazy, yo. Come on, man. Deontay Johnson is beyond talented. But that's just my opinion. Last call of the night, area code 786. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam, what's going on? You all right?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
It is Afro Thunder, man. First time calling, man. First time trying to make it real Tuesday night, Tuesday.
Oh man, appreciate
You
it.
made a good point. Hey, you did. Long time listener, man. Hey, look, with Harris and Warren, I just don't understand why they don't put them on the field at the same time in a package more often. Because the defense have to figure out, okay, they both can catch the ball, they both can run the ball. Okay, what do we do now? And then you got DJ and George Pickens on the outside and moved in the middle. It's going to bring a lot of confusion and bring some time out to the defensive coordinator. Like, okay, what do we do next? You understand what I'm saying?
Man, I'm with you. I would love to see
it
in a more traditional way too. I don't want to just see it like how they've done it a little bit where they split out Najee. Nah, put them both in the backfield. Now we got to guess.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now I'm showing my age. Like back in the day, they did Franco Harris, Century Fuqua, and then they had Sidney Thornton because Warren kind of reminded me of a combination of Sidney Thornton and Frank Pollard when he runs the ball. Even though he's a little bit short and faster, but that's what he remind me of. But they need to just put that package on the field more often, so that you can just have a downside and take the pressure off of Kenny Pickett. He's young. The whole offensive roster is young. It's just like when Bradshaw first came in the league. They're young. Everybody talking about, Bradshaw Hall of Fame, but nobody remembers how Bradshaw first came into the league. All they remember is the 4 Super Bowl rings, but they don't know the growing pains, the booing, the benching. And matter of fact, the first Super Bowl they won, Joe Gillen, Jefferson Street, Joe Gillen started in front of him during that time. So nobody really knows that history. They just know about his 4 Super Bowl rings. And then fast forward, when he got Ben, look at that roster, what Ben was on. He had, look, the Bus and Physical Birds, Hines Ward, and, they had and that defense was just, it was devastating. So, people just don't see everything. Everybody knee-jerk. Everybody wants a microwave. Nobody wants to bake the turkey. It takes time for a quarterback to develop. So I understand what we should have got Malik Willis. But look, I saw Malik Willis, what you call it? He looked good in short. But then again, hey, Sim, you could come out there and ball out in short and look good too. But when you get put in the fire, it's a whole different ball game. You got a good arm, but what can you do when that fire's coming after you?
That's right.
But just like what you said, just one game, and you may have to wait till about another 3 or 4 more games to see what type of team this is. Because I know you said you wait till the 6th game of the season, but now it looks like they're going back to week 1 with the new coordinator and see how the team going to progress throughout the last 6 games of the season.
Man, that's an excellent point, and thanks for your call. And I actually will comment on that last point because what Afro Thunder just said is facts. And I'll say maybe the next 2. And the reason why I would say that is because we are expected to be able to win the Cardinal game and expected to be able to win the Patriots game, even though it's the NFL, we all know. But let's see how they perform against teams that they seem to stack up better against. And that's going to tell us a lot. That's going to tell us a whole lot offensively if they mess around and they go backwards against these teams that are not winning and stopping really nobody. The Rams just hung 37 points on the Cardinals. And again, you can't always go by that. That's a divisional game. But let's see how they look against these 2 back-to-back games at home that are winnable. Perfect point. Perfect point, man. And I think that's a great place to stop. I'm not going to spend as much time in the chat. I did want to comment on one thing that I saw. My man, Jack Bauer said, what is that route running got Deontay Johnson? Like I told you guys, man, listen, I'm not here to debate people's opinions. Some of you guys like Deontay, some don't. But, Clearly, the Steelers think highly of him. They paid him, and y'all know they don't typically do that. There's only a handful of receivers that they pay, and they paid Deontay Johnson. And I mean, go look at his history since he's been with the Steelers, his receptions and yards, it kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, he didn't have any touchdowns last year, but we can't take that off of Kenny's plate, because last year everybody would say, "Oh, Kenny Pickett played like trash," right? Until the last 4 or 5 games. So how do we expect Deontay Johnson to have many touchdowns if the offense won't do anything? All of this season up until last Sunday, we've said that the offense has been kind of suspect. How do we expect Deontay? I'm just saying we can't have it both ways. I'm just talking from a skill standpoint, from a straight skill and talent standpoint. Deontay Johnson, to me, is by far top 10, if not higher, in the NFL. That's just my opinion. But I don't expect you guys to agree with me either, so I'm just giving my opinion. But, you're not going to get me to argue, I'm not going to justify this or justify that. Listen, I'm just speaking from a talent standpoint. And, as far as what has it gotten him, it got him paid, because the Steelers obviously felt like he was talented enough to keep around. So that's all I got. I'll look at a few of these here. Leonard Green says Connor is going to be running hard against his former team. Yeah, got to keep an eye on Connor. I'm having a dilemma because I have Connor on my fantasy team, and I don't know if I want to play him because I'm going to be pissed if he goes off. Who cares about that fantasy? I want the Steelers to get the job done. What else y'all got? Gavin says he just makes me want to pull my Gavin says he makes him want to pull his ball hairs out. Yeah, man, I guess he can frustrate you at times, man, but we can't take the boy's talent away, man. The kid is uber talented. Dietrich says Deontay may not be a diva, but he sure isn't a dog. Okay, I can see your perspective on that. Doesn't appear to come off like a dog. I can see why you say that. I ain't mad at that. Round of applause for Kev So Nice. Appreciate the donation. Says Sim, the Pats have the Steelers number. I can see it being a trap game for the Steelers. Mike Tomlin struggles against Bill. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, Bill Belichick is always going to throw something out there at you. No question. I'm not going to call it a trap game because I'm going to just be honest about our team. I don't think we're in a position to call any of these a trap game. I don't think I'm sitting here today saying that the Steelers are a great team and I expect them to win any game. I don't. The same reason why I don't understand how we got to 6-4 or 6-3 when we were. It's just somehow we finding ways to win. We should have won the Cleveland game. We could have found a way to win that. But we didn't. The offense couldn't find their way on the last 2 drives. We found a way to win this past game where it should have been more points on the board. So there is absolutely no such thing as a trap game for the rest of this season for the Steelers, because I still don't believe, in my personal opinion, that the Steelers are not a 7-4 team. They're not. They just been balling out on defense, and the defense has helped them a lot, keeping points down and forcing us into these one-possession games, and they're finding a way to win. But that is not a team that I have confidence in. Because for once this season, I would love to not have to be like this the last 20 seconds of the game. And yeah, we won't like that in the last 20 seconds of this game, but we were like that on the last drive for the most part. For once, I would like to feel comfortable in a win and be like, yeah, we got that one. We took care of business. Just once. So until they do that, I ain't jumping for joy about this squad. Steel City Film Room, my man, he says Brady had the Steelers number until last year. I think Bill will be the same this year. Okay. Yeah, I think Bill gonna throw something at us, man. But listen, man, it Steelers have no business. Again, it's possible, yes, because I'm not contradicting myself. I could say two things are right at the same time. Theoretically, you think the Steelers should be able to beat the Cards and the Pats just from how the Cards and Pats have played. But because of the way the Steelers haven't played consistently, I'm not sure. It won't be impossible for me if they lost. And I won't walk away from it saying that, oh, Tomlin didn't have them ready to play either. I won't say that either because the team itself, I still just don't feel like they're this great team. I don't. Last one, I guess. Gavin Carr says, that would be our 5th loss, and the other loss will be to the Ravens or Seahawks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, looking at the records right now, could the Steelers walk away with an 11-6 record? Can that be right? 11-6 would be, yeah, that's 17, right? 12-5 is a stretch. I mean, listen, 10 games is a stretch right now, in my opinion. Now, there's 3 games on that schedule that I think they can win, right? I think they're winnable. So I do see the path for the Steelers to get to 10 wins, but I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that they will. That's just where I sit today. But we'll talk more. We'll talk more, man, as these weeks continue. I'm going to go ahead and give the announcement now in case some of you guys don't see my before play, which in this case will probably have to be on Friday. I'm going out of town once again this week. So guess what? It's going to be the same situation. I won't see the game. I'll have to watch it on the replay because where I'm going, I'm traveling to Virginia. That might not be the game that's shown in that area. I might be able to watch it on my phone if I'm stationary. But yeah, that's what I'm dealing with, helping my brother move and stuff like that. So I don't know if there will be a afterplay. If it will, maybe it'll be like some type of situation from the car, because traveling to Virginia, we're going to be there a lot longer than we were in New York. So I would be getting back home late. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I'm just going to let you guys know it's going to be the same situation this coming weekend. I hate it, but I won't be able to do the traditional show. I will do something. And then, of course, Terrible Towel Tuesday will kick off. But I will be back. I will be doing a uploaded video of the before play. That should be uploaded sometime Friday evening. Just giving you my thoughts on the upcoming opponent, keys to victory. And that'll be it. But outside of that, man, as far as tonight, before you go, if you like what you saw here tonight, I need you to do 2 things first. That is hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Once you are subscribed to the channel, do the 3rd thing. Click that notification bell so that way you are informed when videos are live or have been uploaded. All right, that's my time. Y'all know the routine. Stay safe. God bless. Stay healthy. Good night. And like always, thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.